Hold on a second. Hold on. All right, go ahead. Eduardo, what's your improvement?
Yeah, I have this improvement for this week is get my little template blurb back into my listings. I use InkFrog, and because of some problems we had with the store, we had to remove like that little template where you say, how long it's gonna take for items to ship, or like your policies and all of that. And I think that's maybe I don't want to say it's hurting my sales, but customers all the time, right? Like you can mind shipping, and stuff like that. That should be just straightforward. It should be there. And I had it before, and it was working fine. But so we had to add that back to all of our listings. So that's one of my improvement for my store this week.
That's a great improvement, which is making your blurb reduce the number of questions you have. So there's a bunch to that, and I want to write all this stuff down because it's really great. It's the
Do you have any
ask.
tips like what's good or what's not? Like I see like blurbs that are really long and that are not well written or all in one color. They're not easy to read. I come from the sales background, so I was in sales all my life. I had my other businesses. I've always run the sales department, so I'm kind of like I like the bullets. I like spacing, easy to read. One, two, three, bam, bam, bam. Like no wording, like lengthy phrases or stuff like that. That's kind of where I am in terms of the blurb. Like trying to be like 24 hour shipping or same day shipping. 60-day money back guarantee. Um, COVID protection for all the items. Like we sanitize everything before shipping it out and whatever. So it's like it's kind of like I don't know, like all the bullets that make the product better, or the advantages, to put it the
Yeah,
other way.
those are the things that I wanted to everyone to think about today to reduce questions. So combined shipping is one. What's your handling time is another one. So if you put we ship same day or 1 day shipping, that's nice. If you add in or go ahead, you have another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the things that troubles me a little bit in my case, all the questions that I get a lot is in terms of shipping. We have two options. We have the regular shipping, which is using the regular post office, and then we have DHL, which is courier door to door in 3 days. But because we're in Panama, it takes a long time for items to arrive when it's done um, through the regular shipping. So it could take weeks, and it's almost like it was coming from China. So it could take 4 weeks, 5 weeks for it to arrive to you. But if it's DHL, it's 5 days. But I haven't been able to find a way to be able to, like, to tell eBay to offer, instead of saying like fast, like international expedite shipping, or regular shipping from outside of the United States. I can't seem to find a way that would tell them DHL, or that would tell them 3 days, or that I can type the words that I want to show, saying 3 day shipping or 5 day shipping. It's kind of programmed into eBay, and it doesn't let you edit what it says. It's kind of like it's either whatever eBay has thought of before, or you can't do anything else.
Um, I don't know if there's a way to make it so that it doesn't look like it's going to take a long time from Panama. Um, go ahead.
I don't want to say that it's not going to take a long time. I just want to be able to say, for example, I want my option to say something like regular shipping, parenthesis, 4 to 6 weeks, expedite shipping, DHL, 2 to 5 days.
Hmm.
But that's something I can't write. I can't give that option. It's just like I have to select whatever eBay has in there as an option. I don't know if there's a way to change that, or to modify that in any way. I don't know.
There isn't, but I will look into that because I guess people will, people want to present both. I mean, people want to present all of their options. It's just that when you do that, it makes people buy less because they're confused. You like want to give people. That's why Amazon's so successful. There's only one button buy it. There's no one thinks about shipping. It's just all the same. So that's if they present, I guarantee for sure, if they presented two shipping options, it would cause some people to not buy. That's why eBay only has one presented. Me too. I have overnight shipping available, but you don't know that until you click in. Like it doesn't say, "Hey buyer, you can get this fast or cheaper for slower." It doesn't give that option.
Right, but when you actually get to that page when you're paying on your checkout, you do see like the options right there,
Yeah,
and you can
once you
read
get there,
what.
yeah. Once you get there, yeah.
Right, but in my case, you can't. It'll only say regular international shipping from outside of the United States, expedite international shipping from outside of the United States. That's it. It
Mm.
doesn't give you, it doesn't give you another. Like I can't choose DHL. They only have like DHL from China. They have DHL from Russia, but they don't
That's it.
have.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jen had a good suggestion, which was that could be one of your bullet points, or you could put it in your condition description. DHL available, DHL expedited shipping available. Maybe that's your first bullet point, because to me, one of the downsides to buying from your store is it takes the same amount of time as getting it from China. Like I don't want to wait that long. I want my GI
Right.
Joe figure right now.
Right, but when it's a collectible, trust me, you can't find the parts. So
Yeah,
people
you
are
can
like,
wait, but
damn, I
I'm
need
saying
this. So
it's still, I still want it fast though. I'm willing to wait, but I still want it fast.
right, right. And yeah,
Um,
I noticed because when we use DHL, customers like, oh my god, it was so fast. It only took 3 days or 2 days, and it's amazing, right? People are happy all the way from Panama in 2 days. But when we use regular shipping, it takes its time. I've seen 3 weeks, I've seen 5 weeks. It's just
so
so
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit to Philip, who put in the chat that he is running out of inventory and he's stuck right now. So this is funny because he's also a toy seller, right? And then we just talked to Eduardo, who has like unlimited supply in the toy category. Philip's running out, but I think that's because Philip is more very, very specific on what kind of toys he sells. And I have never had that problem where I run out of inventory. And what that means is I have too many categories. So right now, I looked at it on the listing quality report and it pulls up your top 10 categories. So I'm trying to think about what do I do? Do I take the categories I'm doing the best in, double down, get rid of the other categories? Do I just have I don't think I can get the number 1 in all 10 categories. That seems like not really possible. But to get into the top in one category, that seems too boring mentally to just, okay, I'm only selling in one category. So something to think about. I don't know, but I do know that I shaved my average time from 6 minutes to 5 minutes, and now I'm over 20,000 listings, and I haven't been working more. I just work the same, but I can get a few more listings done each day, and that's added up to a lot. So I think people you don't need to make massive improvements. Most likely, a small improvement here or there will add up to 1 minute faster. And I also wanted to highlight what's this gentleman's name in the group? It was really cool. Oh, Michael. I don't know his last name, but he posted that he changed his work schedule to 4 10s instead of 5 8-hour shifts. And then on his day off, he lists the whole day, and he listed 80 items yesterday. So that is like that's an incredible testimonial right there. You work your 4 10s. So you make the same amount you did in your 5 day a week job and put it in the 4, which might save you time on commuting, on all kinds of stuff. And then knock out 80 listings on your day off. That's insane. That's probably almost a full-time income. It wouldn't surprise me if he makes the same amount of money on Tuesday, his 80 listing day, as he does the rest of his week at his day job. That's amazing. Also, one more thought from Jen saying efficiency, then consistency. I would say efficiency comes after consistency. I would say accuracy is first. Accuracy, precision first, then consistency, then efficiency. You make it more efficient after you have the habit. You can't be efficient at first. It's impossible. You don't know how to do it. I'm not even efficient yet. I've been doing this for years. You got consistency first. Actually, not even consistency and accuracy first. So do one really good listing a day that checks all the boxes. Do that, and then do two, and then do three. Yesterday, I was trying to make a chart for growth, like based on workout schedules. And when you work out and you're trying to build a habit, you do sets. So I was thinking, okay, why not apply that to reselling? You start with 5 sets of one listing. Do one listing, take a break. Do one listing, take a break. Do one listing, take a break. The next day, do 2 listings, take a break, and you can build yourself up to whatever amount that you want in the future. But you can't just go from 0 to 10 push-ups. You can't do, like, if you do 0 push-ups a day, you can't now do 5 sets of 10 push-ups. You got to work up from one, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then after a while, 100 push-ups is no problem. Or you can become an ultra lister like Tech, and 250 listings is no problem. Just got to scale yourself up. I think working out's a great analogy for this, because no, you can't skip steps when you work out, but everybody wants to skip steps when they resell. Let's see. Kristen, I like this. Kristen's trying to take a 12-day vacation next month. So she's trying to get drafts every day so she can build up to that. So her goal is 15 listings a day. So for her to take a 12-day vacation, she needs 180 drafts. And there is nothing wrong, in my opinion, to take a trip to Europe, wake up in the morning, launch 15 listings, extend your handling if you want to do it that way. And beginning of the day when you wake up, do that. End of the day, you message all the customers that bought something and say, you know what, I'm on vacation. I'm human. I'll be back in 2 weeks and ship your item. Nothing wrong with that. And it will not mess up your vacation. In fact, you'll probably feel awesome because you're making money while you're gone. Because there's actually, I saw a YouTuber say that he went on vacation and he was getting PTO, paid time off, because he was still getting sales while he was on vacation. That's not correct. Paid time off is extra. When you have paid time off at a regular job, you get 2 weeks paid. That's actually 2 weeks paid. When you have when you have your own eBay store and you take 2 weeks off, you're borrowing from the future sales to give you sales today. That's not paid time off. That's taking pay from tomorrow to pay for today. That's not the same thing. So you have to think about it that way. So I like the idea of building a draft bank of 180 to launch 15 a day while you're on vacation. Listing 15 listings would take under 5 minutes. It would not mess up your vacation at all. You don't need complete Zen bliss when you're on vacation. That's totally fake.
Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you guys talk about building a draft bank, you always say that you launch every day 15 listings because you have a bank.
Yeah.
But can you just program them? Like I use InkFrog, and
Yeah,
when
you can
do
schedule
my
them.
listings, I just do like 10 for tomorrow, and then I do 10 for the next day, and then 10 for then I just forget about them. And then if you're on vacation, you don't have to think about it. They'll go up every single day without you having to do anything.
That's right. It just on eBay costs 10 cents per listing. On InkFrog, it's free. So it just depends on what service you use. But 10
Okay.
cents is not cost prohibitive. If you're worried about 10 cents, your item isn't profitable enough.
Right.
So just, yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see. Kelly switched from white background to gray carpet and improved her time. That's awesome. Amy is staying consistent because she'll be away for 14 days. This is probably a great conversation, because the reason why I think of doing it every day is because it's really hard to get back into the habit. So I have decided I will become the second greatest lister of all time. I'm going to be amazing at listing. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch Tech and Sports because he has listed like 400,000 items by himself. So it's really hard to like compete with that. But I will become amazing at listing. So I was talking to him about this yesterday. If you're really, really, really good at listing, you never have an inventory problem.
Guys, did I lose signal or did Chris lose signal?
Chris lost signal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Sorry, I lost you guys for a minute. Okay, can you guys hear me again? Okay. So
Yeah, you're back.
So the goal is to become a fantastic lister. Okay, that's the goal. That's reselling. If you're, that'd be like the equivalent of bench press, squat, and it's like it's the big one. It's the big one. Maybe squats. Listing is the squats of reselling. So you gotta be great at listing. If you're not great at listing, you're not a reseller. You're just buying for retail therapy. That's it. So it's also, and if we reverse engineer that too, last thought for that is, if you improve your emotional health, you'll reduce the need to go buy things to make yourself feel better. I know, right? Everyone's asking Isaiah to be young Jamie. You asked the best follow-up questions for people. But we'll go with Jeff. Jeff, what's your improvement on eBay? Oh wait, Jeff Ludden first.
Oh, I get to go first today?
Yeah. Yep.
My improvements for this week, well, I should have all my excess inventory listed, actually. I got a lot done yesterday. And I guess I kind of have to. I'm kind of under the gun because I bought another 680 pairs of shoes.
So I have a question for you. I want to talk about two things. One, is there a specific category that you sell in, or is it just liquidation and pallets?
Mostly shoes and some clothing.
Okay. So when you buy a pallet of soap, like you just did, how does that affect your day? What do you do with that?
Well, I'll sell some of that obviously on Amazon. Mostly is basically where it goes.
But do you work on it after your day of listing mostly shoes and clothing, or do you do it instead of listing clothing and shoes?
That right now, I got a couple hundred in stock, so it's just sitting there. I don't want to send too much into Amazon because obviously we're limited on what we can send.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my max inventory level right now is 2,200. So I'm not going to ship it in because I want to make sure it sells. I don't want to have to liquidate it because it's going to cost me too much in storage fees.
Sounds
Does
good.
that make sense?
Yeah. So it doesn't interrupt your flow?
No.
Okay. Because that's what I wanted to like have people do. Like if you are a electronics seller and then you pick up a mid-century modern lamp, do the lamp like after you've already done your day of whatever. And in the future, maybe don't pick up that lamp because the $100 you're going to make on the flip of the lamp might screw up your flow and mess up the assembly line, so they say.
And that's one of the reasons why I kind of delisted like 100 different listings, because there were phone cases, power banks, all this like $7.99, $9.99 stuff that was basically clogging up my flow. I should be sticking to what I want to do, which is shoes and some clothing. So that's one of the other reasons I cut back on what I was buying or selling, you know. Before it was kind of like, well, let's try and sell everything. Now it's kind of like, well, let's sell what works. Uh-oh.
Can I ask a question? Or is he frozen again? Not fools. Now I can't ask him a question until YouTube gets back. Gotta wait on YouTube, man. Dang it. We'll wait for it. We'll wait for it. Just so that I don't forget, guys. My question is about Jeff and him getting 680 pairs of shoes. That's the question. So when I come back, if I go, dang it, I forgot it. That's what it was. 680 pairs of shoes. Like, what kinds are we talking about? All right. Don't answer it yet though. Let's wait till after Chris gets back.
Wow, I don't know what's wrong with my internet. Anyway,
Welcome back, Chris.
thank you. Isaiah,
So,
what's your improvement this week?
hold on. I was asking Jeff a question.
Go ahead.
So, Jeff, dang it, what was my question? Oh, I remember it. So, like with the 680 pairs of shoes that you're getting, like what kinds of brands are you expecting? Are they, because none in my personal experience, my experience through other people, when they get pallets of shoes, they're not able to get, like those normal, like, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, et cetera kind of shoes. So what type of shoes are you typically getting through these liquidations? You don't have to tell the source or anything like that. I'm just trying to wonder, like, how does it work and what's the normal sell-through rate on a pallet?
On this specific lot, I'm getting Puma men's Pacer shoes, 41 pairs.
Mhm.
Sketcher men's Delson shoe, 33 pairs.
Mhm.
Puma ladies Pacer shoe, 37 pairs. Puma ladies Vicky V2, 31 pairs.
Yeah, I know what all those are. Yeah.
Sketcher ladies sandal, 24 pairs. Fila lady recollector, 17 pairs.
Is it like a Amazon return kind of thing, or?
No, these are all from Costco liquidation. So it's kind of the same thing, but just the different store. From my experience, a lot of the grade A, grade B stuff ends up being just returned, never put on, very light cleaning. On occasion, you might have to throw a pair away, but it is what it is. You get some winners, you get mostly winners, but you'll get a couple losers.
How much, like, are you getting returns from like breakage, or, how like you have when you have what is it called? Like dry rot in shoes and things like that? Or are these not like brand new dead stock shoes?
I wouldn't say they're brand new, but they're close to new. A lot of people buy them and they have buyer's remorse, or they have
wrong fit, stuff like that.
Wrong fit. It's a lot of that stuff. And Costco's return policy is so generous that when I bought an electronics pallet, one of the return reasons was phone stopped working after 6 years. So, their return policy is really, really liberal.
Oh,
so
you can see what the items are returned for.
A lot of them, if they're not brand new, they'll usually put a sticker on every item. And it usually doesn't fit, didn't like color, didn't want, didn't need.
What's your general sell-through rate?
Like, I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Not in a percentage sense. Like, I sell 0.5% of my items per day or something like that. Not like that. More along the lines of like, how many months generally does it take for those to be gone?
I think I'm selling around 300 pairs a month right now. I looked at my sales data last night, actually, because I never knew where it was, but I found it, and we're right in the 297 to 300 a month ish, right around there.
So those will be gone in like 3 to 4 months, maybe at the worst 5.
Yeah, I'd say, my first shoe pallet I bought, too bad Don Oswald isn't here, but he's been harassing me about it the whole time. I got 110 pairs of slippers, and I'm like, what am I going to do with 110 pairs of slippers? Well, they weren't selling on eBay, so I put them on a buy two get one free on eBay, and I think
were they plain, like, unbranded slippers, or were they like a specific type of slipper?
Deer foams. You've probably heard of deer foams.
Yeah, I've heard of deer foams. Yeah.
So I sold I think I got 30 out of the 110 left, and they're, of course, they're all smalls and mediums, not large or extra large.
Yeah, that would make things a lot more difficult for me.
So,
but you could sell them to women pretty easily.
Yeah, I think I got 25 mediums and 12 smalls left. So we're doing okay on those. They're not super profitable, but you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than losing money. So, and it's better than them just sitting there as well.
I'll use a quick example. I got 12 pairs of a New Balance shoe, brand new, dead stock, that I think retail on them was $175.
Yeah.
I got 12 pairs of those. So that 12 pairs paid for the whole pallet, which was like $1,600.
So next question for you would be, at your utmost efficiency, like what in like cash flow, what would be the most amount of pallets you could get per month? Shoe pallets.
This month I'm kind of capped out at my max. I bought.
No, I'm saying if you had a limitless max, you didn't have one, what's the most you could get?
If I had a limitless, if I had no cash flow issues, I'd probably be buying. I'd probably have to get another warehouse.
Oh, so they have enough inventory where you can get as many as you want per day.
So the best thing to do for me, from my experience, is we have a Costco. One of the distribution centers is just down in Tolleson, Arizona. So I can bid up on that because the freight's going to be cheaper than buying it from Los Angeles or Texas.
Exactly.
But I'm not afraid to go out. Like I got two pallets of clothing coming from New Jersey, and I got 2 pallets coming from Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So I'm not afraid to venture out, to other states, but I prefer not to because the freight can get high.
Exactly. Okay. So, but as long as you have the cash flow, generally there's going to be the inventory there for the shoes.
Yeah, and that's the big what if, the cash flow. So
yeah,
I'm pretty much maxed out for the next 3 months after this 1 month.
Because typically the thing that fails in situations like this with when you're buying pallets is the condition. It's either the condition or the brands, right? Like either the brands are, lower East Side or Cat and Jack Marone or things like that. Those like less profitable, lower sell-through rate brands. But in this case, it seems like you both found relatively good brands while also finding them in good condition. So does it mean that you have to pay a higher price for them? Like, is the profit margin not as high?
As far as what goes?
Does that mean that the profit margin isn't as high for the pallets? Like, are you able to make like double your investment on the entire pallet? So
yeah,
easy.
Because a lot of the shoes are $30 to $40 shoes, but I also got $125 pairs. So it definitely, the worst part of a pallet for me is the deer foam slippers. So if I get those, it's kind of like, yeah, well, we're going to break even on those, but we'll make okay. We'll double our money on everything else, minimum.
Okay, so generally you're doubling your money on your pallets. The deer foam slippers isn't an exception.
That's an exception, but yeah, for the most part, you're buying at between 8 on the low end, 10 on the high end per pair is what it averages out to.
Okay, that's really great. Like, I love that. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Isaiah, what are you improving?
Right now, my cousin working with me has been going very well. He's doing an excellent job at cleaning the shoes. Since I got sick this weekend, my consistency has been a bit off. It's been a lot harder for me to like focus on tasks for longer periods of time. And my schedule got thrown off as well. It's kind of the thing you were just talking about where like when you get knocked off of your schedule, it's kind of hard to readjust back to it. So right now it's just readjusting to my schedule. I started adding the photos to my listings while I'm listing. I'm using Google Photos to do that because I have a Chromebook, which is synced to my phone. So whenever I take photos on my phone, they show up on my computer. So I can just use those photos and just drop them in the listing using the little shift click thing that you guys were showing a couple of weeks ago. So I'm trying to adjust to this new way of listing by adding the photos into the listing initially. That way, the only thing I'm really using my phone for and the app for is pricing. But that's pretty much it. Just kind of getting back into the flow of things. I need to build a couple of shelves because I have like a shoe room that has all my shoes on shelves, and I have another room beside my photography area that has a bunch of shoes that are just kind of in a pile that are already photographed and listed. So I need to get those shoes from that area and build shelves in there to deter me from putting shoes right there. So that's it for me. Recovering from sickness and also figuring out how to buy 680 pairs of shoes like Jeff said. I can't hear you, Chris. You're muted.
Spencer, can you chat? Oh, sorry, I muted you.
Good.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
What are you working on?
Right now, I'm just working on getting more in a consistent pattern of listing, trying to get stuff up every single day.
How do you do that?
As soon as I wake up, I just type out listings and then I picture because the typing out is easier for me. Picturing is kind of something I don't want to do.
Okay.
But once I start the process, then I have to feel like I have to finish it.
So you wake up, you build drafts?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you take photos and then add the photos to it later?
Yep. Yeah, I want to change that because I found it easier when I already have the pictures up and I can just launch them.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to work out a way that can work out.
So do you need the momentum of something to get you going in the morning? Because a lot of people do something that they can always do to build that movement. But you said that doing photos first would be better, but
but it's harder. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess something would help. I don't know what it would be. But
That's a good thought. But I mean, ideally, I guess you just wake up and start taking photos. How do we get you to do that?
Maybe I think if maybe the night before, if I get even just a couple of drafts done, so then those I know I picture those and then just keep picturing from there on.
Oh, okay. That's a good strategy.
I don't know.
Can you have a bank of photos so you can just start listing?
Yeah, I definitely could.
What's your listing goal?
A day, I would say. Well, I know you always say to keep it low just to make sure you get it done.
Yeah.
I would say it's about 10, but
okay.
It's never consistent though with me. I might get 20, 25 in a day, and then the next day I don't get any, which is not good.
Got you. So
yeah.
If you came and you already had 10 sets of photos done already, and you just listed those 10 right in the morning, is that better?
Yeah, that would definitely work.
Yeah, I guess that would, because we're trying to train you to do photos first. So I don't like the idea of doing drafts the night before and then doing photos in the morning to complete those, because then those ones are inefficient.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, cool.
So I just have to do it. I just have to get those pictures taken in the morning.
Yeah. Nick is mentioning that personal health is really important because we talked about Isaiah earlier. Isaiah's a young guy. You shouldn't be getting sick. Go ahead.
My teeth were killing me.
Oh, that's true. Your teeth
were annihilating me. I didn't get sick normally. Fortunately.
Why are your teeth messed up?
I have no idea. Like one of my wisdom teeth is like sideways.
Okay.
That one wasn't even the one that was bothering me though. It's the other two. They were like they're impacted and they were just causing me some issues. And what I'm based off, since I'm not having any problems right now, it's probably just they were hitting a nerve and it caused my entire mouth to inflame, and all of that pain caused my body to go into a negative spot. But I'm okay now.
Okay, because they say those with good health have a lot of problems, but those with bad health only have one problem. So that's how important health is. It'll set you back.
I went to boxing yesterday and everything. They had a great job. It was fun.
Nice. Okay, let's go with Brian. Brian Vant, good morning.
Good morning.
What are you working on?
Just trying to get back in the flow. Just got back from vacation and just trying to get back in the flow.
Got you. Do you feel like however long your vacation is, like let's say how long was it?
A week.
Do you think it'll take you 2 weeks to get back in the groove? Because that's like the going rule.
No, I don't think so. Like
Okay.
I extended my handling time while I was gone. My sales did drop because, going from same day to, I think originally it was 10-day the first day or so. Like I noticed my sales were a lot lower, but I was getting sales. And just like you said earlier, just get up, launch drafts in the morning, do customer service, things like that, 15, 20 minutes a day. But now that I'm back, I'm recharged and ready to go. So I think it's a good thing to take time off. I think about what Gary Keller talks about in the one thing on the chapter about time blocking and scheduling. He sits down and that's the first thing that he schedules is his time off, because I'm recharged. I'm ready to go now. So
If you don't schedule your time off, you don't have it.
Exactly.
That's 100% true. There's tons of people who do that. They plan this is how when people talk about early retirement, in order to do that, you have to think about what you're going to do in retirement. If all you do is say, I want to retire early, but you have no plans for after, you don't actually retire. Those people never retire. You have to have a plan for that. Vacation is, okay, there's also the theory that maybe you take a vacation during the slow time. So maybe as a reseller, since the slow months are May, June, July, maybe everyone in here takes the teacher schedule in a sense. Maybe you build up 15 listings of drafts between, you have to use something like InkFrog where your pictures don't disappear, but you could add 15 to your draft bank every day for 9 months and then take 3 months off. You could do that. There's lots of ways of doing this, but you have to schedule yourself. Like I'm taking 3 months off in the summer and then save money and do all those things.
Shipping stuff, like all that other stuff.
You'd have to have somebody helping you if you didn't extend your time, because I don't think you can extend it past, is 1 month the maximum?
I think so.
So there's a couple of questions about VAs. I don't recommend VAs for 99% of people. I have some that I might refer to people in the group, but I think I might be killing your store if I do that. I can, but most people are not at the level where they even know what they're doing themselves. So if you hire a VA, it will make your store horrible. It's going to go from bad to worse because you haven't. A VA should do exactly what you tell them to do. And if you have that instruction, you can just go to onlinejobs.ph and get your own. If you don't know what you're doing, then you need to hire an expert to help you list. And that's dangerous because now you're giving control to that person. And like the VAs that I have are experts at clothing, but if you don't give them an exact process, they're not going to be good at it.
So Chris, I have a question about what you just said. So you said if you know what you're doing, then if you know exactly what you're doing, then you can have the VA do it.
Anyone can help you if you know exactly what you're doing.
Exactly. That's right. And if you don't know what you're doing, then you shouldn't have a VA. You need to find an expert.
Basically, what you're doing is you're doing what they tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever process they just make up. Like if any of us went to Tech and Sports and we gave them a double the warehouse space and we're like, okay, what do I do today? Your entire day would be planned for you.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be like, oh, what do I do? That would never happen.
So my question for you is, how does someone know which box they're in? How do you know if you know what you're doing or if you don't? Because a lot of people hire VAs and they find out afterwards that they didn't know what they were doing.
You know when the VA does the same thing as what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you give the VA and they are like, hey, what happens when this happens? You're not an expert. I'm not an expert. Jeff put in the group that expert, AKA Chris, I'm not an expert. I look smarter, go ahead.
If you're all right, so we can almost without a, no, I don't want to say almost without a doubt, but you're one of the best like eBay performers in this call, right? When it comes to sales volume and things of that nature, size of store, etc., right?
Yeah.
Experience. So
I'm still not an expert.
So if you're not an expert who shouldn't have VAs, then in theory, it means that everyone else should also not have VAs.
That's right. There's only like maybe 200 stores on eBay that need a VA
So
because they're doing thousands of listings a day. Okay, you need a VA. If you're doing less than 80 listings a day, which is 99.99% of people, you're most likely better off yourself because there's no mistakes. Like I'm trying to get my other store off of a VA right now, and every day there's one mistake out of hundreds of listings, and that adds up when you get to a huge store. That's why you have to launch your own drafts when you have a VA. Because here's the thing: the reason why my store is successful is because I have a large amount of effort. It's not because I know what I'm doing. If I knew what I was doing, I could have a much smaller store and have the same results. You know, like I'm putting in a ridiculous amount of effort to overcompensate for not being a complete expert. This is why the Facebook group is so mind-blowing. People are posting stuff that I don't know every day. It's really, really, really hard to be an expert unless you only do one category, to be honest.
I do one category and I'm not even an expert. And I've been
see?
for this long. But like, I found out the other day that I picked up some Travis Scotts and didn't even know what a Travis Scott was, and that's just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't sell those kind of shoes. I just thought they were some basic Air Jordan 1s. Fortunately, they weren't, well, not fortunately, unfortunately, they weren't authentic, but still, like, I didn't know that they were Travis Scotts. And now that's something else that got added to the Rolodex. But still, so if that means that the only expert that we could talk to and the only path for us, like reasonably, would be through tech. That's the only path.
No, there's plenty of experts in the group. It's just people who've only sold one category for a long time.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I thought but so as long as you're over 80 listings per day.
If you're over 80 listings a day in one category, then you need a VA because you know exactly what you're doing. Because listing 80 listings a day by yourself is insanely difficult.
I get it. Okay.
Well, and you don't have to do 80 a day, but you would have to know how to do 80 a day with no mistakes so that you could train somebody else to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because everyone wants to hire someone to come in and take care of their listing, but that's not how it works. You're paying somebody to screw up your store. I know because I am the king of doing that. So
and the long-term consequences of that are not worth the $2.49.
Well, here's the problem. When you hire a VA, the very first month or 2 months, your sales will skyrocket because you're getting so many more listings up. But it's a ticking time bomb because you don't know about all the errors. The errors don't happen right away because if you list 100 items and there's four defects, you don't notice that there's 4 defects until you have 1,000 listings and 40 defects. And then you get 6 item that is described. And now you have a 5% penalty on your total amount of sales, right? And you also have 40 listings that are wrong. So you have to go back. You don't know which ones are wrong. Got to go back and figure it all out.
Yeah, that's so true.
But right away, you get a huge bump in sales. It's like in the workout analogy is great. If you were to work out 7 days a week, you're going to for sure get injured. No one does that. They don't do that. They don't do the same exercise every single day. That's too much for your body to handle.
Same thing happens if you ramp up your exercises too quickly.
That's what I mean. So you can't ramp up your store quickly without there being collateral damage. So that's why the strategy I'm trying to make a chart that's like list 1 listing 5 times a day, then 2, then 3, then 4. You won't even notice yourself improving because 1 listing extra never killed anyone. There's my tweet of the day. And 1 extra listing a day has never killed anyone. But 10 listings a day extra will kill you because after a month, that's 300 extra listings. If you don't know what you're doing, you just multiplied the problem. See, Jen's saying she had 9% errors and 100 listings with Sellhound, and I would consider Sellhound one of the better VA services. Still terrible compared to doing it yourself, though.
Are there strategies for avoiding this? Because like right now we're on the team VA suck right now. Well, not VA suck, but VAs, if you don't know what you're doing, they suck. because you suck generally, right? So, okay, let's let JL's actually talking about it right now.
Jeff, what's up?
Well, the VA part, the reason I have a VA is because I hate writing listings and I hate doing templates.
Right.
It's not my strong suit. That's all I can say. But
That's what I mean, though. If it's not your strong suit, you're sort of relying on somebody else. It should be your strong suit. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so my thoughts on it, like I pretty much agree with you. Like if you're doing 80 or less, you don't need a VA, because when you do get a VA, there's time involved in managing your VA. Like
That's right.
You've got to train them. And like for me, you know, we meet regularly and we go over things and we train them. And when I first started, like what you said, I don't think I took the time to really show them how to do it. And there were probably more errors at the beginning. Now, you know, we review drafts together, you know, a couple of times a week. We go over it. Anytime I'm reviewing their draft and I see an error, I jot it down and we go back to that draft. So it does, I always think of it like in terms of teaching, because I used to teach. It's like with a student, you know, you have to go back to correct those misconceptions. Now, I think where a VA can be valuable, and I'm not there because I don't have the cash flow, but if you want to scale, like what you were saying, thousands of listings, you can only do 80, you know, most people can do 80, maybe 120 a day. Beyond that, if you want to scale, you're going to need help, whether it's a person in person or a virtual assistant. And I think the strength of the virtual assistant, if you do the hiring part correctly, if you hire good, because think about it, like we're putting all VAs together. A VA that makes a 9% error rate could be one VA, but just like a person you would hire in person, you could have a good hire or a bad hire. So I think if you're going to hire a VA, you got to really put the time at the front part.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you select a good one, and then you've got to keep investing your time in them. If you're just going to hire a VA and just be like, okay, I don't need to monitor them, then that is a recipe for disaster.
Well, let me back up for a second. Let's take Cellhound as an example. If you had a process that Cellhound followed, there would be no error rate. If you don't have a process and you let Cellhound do it, there will always be an error rate because a different VA launches your listing every single time. It's a service that is like cookie cutter, so everyone does it a little bit differently. If you have your own person executing the exact same thing over and over again, there's no defect rate. Like if you go to a fast food place, there's a very low defect rate. There's still defect rate, of course, especially with the volume that a fast food place does. But the process is not creative. So if you hire something, I'm under what I think you should do is hire out whatever you are best at. Because somebody in the Moto E5 says, has anyone used the VA to hire to do something other than listing? Yes. I will tell you, one of the most creative and effective ways to use a VA is to help you with local sourcing. There's a couple in Canada. They do $1,000 a day profit. They have 2 virtual assistants that work 12 hours a day, opposite shifts on Craigslist, OfferUp, Kijiji, I think is their version of that in Canada. So it's 24 hours a day. They monitor the local sites around them and they compare the item on Amazon and eBay to the price the person is asking. They email all of those people saying, hey, we're cash buyers. We want all of it. Let us know exactly what you have. We'll stop by with cash and buy it today. They have these blurbs that they push to everyone. And then what they do is they drive around, pick up the best items in their local area, husband and wife team, and they do $1,000 a day profit, the 2 of them. It's about 6 hours of driving around and picking it up and 6 hours of listing, shipping. It's 12-hour a day for both of them, but they kill it. And they have virtual assistants 24/7 pinging everyone saying, we'll take all of it. What else do you have? Look at our eBay store. It's huge. We'll pay you a fair price. Instead of saying like, let me lowball you, because nobody wants that. They just say, we'll pay you a reasonable price for it. And they end up, they're a business. They're not just like trying to screw people for, you're moving, give it all to me. That email that never gets a response. Ed, give some feedback.
Just a question.
Yeah.
let's say I'm with you on your VA idea. You can get in a lot of trouble. I have. But what if you use VAs just to draft your listings and you review everything?
It's better than letting. Okay, I am totally anti letting them launch your listing. That's number one.
I'm with you.
Having them help you draft is okay, but it's also time consuming. Because I used to think that was faster. Have them build the draft and then you launch the draft, until I got really good at listing. And now it's the same speed or faster to just do it myself and not have to have buckets of drafts that are unlisted and all these queues of things that are not done. That's just my personal experience.
I get you. So let's pull it one back step farther and just what happened to your idea of having them just load photos?
That's what I do in my other location. They load the photos, and this morning there was an error. So I lose between $13 and $17 every time there's an error. So I'm like, why not just give that to a local worker so they'd make zero mistakes, because they have the item in their hand. Because a lot of VAs, they don't have the item in their hand, so there's a higher chance of an error. And if you mix up the photos, they don't know that.
Okay, that makes sense.
But again, using a VA is really tempting because it's a lot cheaper per hour.
Right. And,
right.
Most people are not going to actually keep track of the amount of time it takes to fix mistakes, which is, I agree with you, it's considerable.
But you don't know at first. At first, you're like, this is so great. My sales are so huge. And I actually got poisoned by it because my sales went up so much that I got like cocky, not knowing that my store had all these problems in it. And the sell-through rate will not remain like that. It will slowly go down because your store has more and more garbage in it. The good stuff always sells. The problem is you've got some average stuff in there that your VA has posted, and it's not that great, but you don't know because you're listing so much that you don't even care. That's what I was saying to Isaiah. My store is successful because I have 20,000 listings. It's not because I am an expert in clothing. I think if I knew exactly what I was doing, I could get the same sales with 10,000 listings.
Yeah, totally.
So
like those people who have those $44, $64 ASPs, yeah, totally.
And I sell right now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I sell in 13 categories. So eBay gave me that listings quality report on the top 10 for me. And I'm trying to think, that's too many. I can't get the number one in all 10, but I feel like getting the number one in one category is too risky. Like, do I want to be number one in women's sandals? Not really, because you can't wear it's scary to me in the winter. Yeah, but could I be number one in women's sandals and women's boots? Okay, that sounds amazing to me. So if I went to the thrift store and I just said boots, sandals, that's it, and I'm trying to offset and I was number one in boots and sandals, I'd probably make $500,000 a year, because that's it would be really hard to be number one in women's sandals and women's boots. That would take your whole day already.
So Chris, why is it that you want to be number one in only one or two categories when Tech is he's in several categories as well? No,
I'm just saying it's easier to be number one in one or two categories than 10.
Makes sense.
You only have so many hours. It's it's impossible to be number one in every category. So you got to narrow it down. Eduardo, thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, because I keep listening to everybody say get down in one category. For example, in my case, yesterday you were saying that you feel that I should be in less categories, but the reality is I'm just in one. I just do toys and hobbies. So I guess what you meant maybe, that I just want to get this straight to see if I understood correctly. What you tried to say was, don't try to sell all brands, go into one specific brand, or
dominate first and then add the next one. Like literally do only toy figures with guns. Then once you're killing it with that, then add the next one.
Okay, right. Because we only do toys and hobbies. There might be one where you're listing like a train or a robot from the 70s, and then you have to change to a 70s and whatever robot. It's just a different category, but most of the time it's just one.
Yeah, Linda's Closet is an example of a store that has 100 employees, and they do 5 times the volume of tech and sports in our group with 2 employees.
So Chris,
Go ahead.
so I was just thinking about what you're talking about. Basically quality versus quantity. So looking at Linda's closet, I'd assume her return rate's way higher.
It's astronomically high. Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, and I don't know how we know this, is like, what is her bottom line though? Because she's obviously going with the approach of quantity over quality. And of course we would prefer quality, but like what's that balancing point versus we want almost no defects versus, she has a lot of defects, but how much money is she making? I'm just
That's a
kind of
good question.
where-
I think that she's living off of, I don't know Linda's closet personally, but I would guess that she's just paying off the bank loan. It takes like millions of dollars to do what she's doing. So as long as she makes the minimum payment and pays herself a salary, that's how she's doing it. Because per unit of effort, she's probably making minimum wage. If you count the 100 people that she has to manage, that is like I can't imagine 100 people relying on me for their income. That's extremely stressful. Also, with that big of an operation, every single day someone's being fired and hired.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about it like the tax benefits too. I mean, so many write-offs that she could maybe show very little profit, but the cash flow would be really high.
All right, guys, go ahead.
Quick question. So you guys, I wanted to get this before you guys left. You guys were talking about VAs and making sure that putting your VA in a position for them to be a quality VA, right? So what is necessary to be able to do that? How long should that training process be in you guys' experience?
Okay, I'm going to end the call right after this because it's really important. 5 minutes. Okay, if your VA can't do what you're doing in 5 minutes, you don't know what you're doing. Immediately, they show up. This is how you do it. They do it. If it's not that simple, they ask one question, you're doomed. No questions. This is how I do it. You do it exactly like this. If it's not like that, you don't know what you're doing. That's my opinion. Sorry to be so rude about it, but I had such a bad experience. I don't want people to follow in my same footsteps and think, you know what, I don't like this, I'm going to give it to somebody else, and then you're paying them to screw up your store.
That's how I was at Pizza Hut. At Pizza Hut, you learn how to do everything like instantly.
Did they ask you for your feedback at Pizza Hut and how to do things?
No, they just told you how to do it.
They don't care what your opinion is. You make it their way or you don't work there. That's what I mean. That's why Pizza Hut is huge. Pizza Hut is a global brand. They don't care what your opinion is. You go there, you make pizzas the way they tell you to make pizzas, or you don't work there. It's really straightforward. So
it's also interesting how they exist in every area too. Like with McDonald's. McDonald's exists in every area. Like there can be people who average 3.5 GPAs and they can do a good job at McDonald's, as well as people who have a 1.0 GPA can do a good job.
That's what I mean. You don't need an expert when you know what you're doing. You just hire anyone. Like I'm saying, anyone. Somebody who has never done eBay before could go to Tech and Sports' store, and in a week they would list 100 a day.
That's what I was talking about in the group.
That's the thing. That's what the retreat is.
It just had all of us just work for him for a month. Like you just worked for Tech for a month, you'd come back a killer.
It's literally worth millions of dollars because you would just get rid of all the crap that you do. It doesn't matter. You would go there. You'd probably make $500 profit your first day, and you'd be done by noon. Everybody would be done by noon. You'd show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'd be done by noon. You'd make more money than you've ever made before in your entire life. Have lunch and then spend the rest of the day at the beach. That's what people don't. Anyway, I don't have time to talk about this right now. But if the person that you're hiring can't do it in 5 minutes, then you don't know what you're doing.
Pizza Hut is better at training than they are pizzas.
Oh, 100%.
No,
their pizza is very average. All right, guys. Everyone have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.